Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL? NFL draft prospects and rookies? Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man JRich. Count that money, man. Now wipe the crust out of your eyes. Get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with Ray G. You honestly are making absolutely no sense and you sound silly as hell. GMGP. It is Monday, June 17th, 2024. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with Ray G, and y'all know I appreciate each and everybody that's in the building. We got a crew in there, JRich. Yeah, air horns, baby. What's happening with y'all? We're already talking shit. Celtics. Let's go, Celtics. Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that, man. Lakers all day. You see, I got the shirt on. Lake Show all day long. Who else we got in the building? What's happening with you, Jordan? Woo! That's what I'm talking about, baby. Where my GMGP fam at? Where y'all at? Who's in here? Who else is in here? Steve-O in the building. Brandon in the building. I see Jorge in the building. What's up, Tony? Penn State U. Marlon in the building. Wyatt, GMGP. Michael Cole. What's up, baby? How you doing? It's a good day. It's a good day to be here. It's a good day to do this. I'm excited. Fresh off the plane. Wifey and I got back from San Francisco last night. Got away for a weekend trip, man. It was my first time in the Bay Area. Kicking it. Enjoyed it. Jay, I don't know if you noticed, but San Francisco, much colder than I expected, man. I figured going to Cali, it was going to be nice and good warm weather out there, man, but had a good time. Self-driving cars, crazy shit we don't see down here right outside of Dallas, Texas, but I'm excited to do this show. We had some big news break last week. Trevor Lawrence got the bag. JRich, we're going to talk a little T-Law, and we're going to do a little redemption party for you as well. You know, we did the Do You Think You Know Ball trivia session last week. Everybody complained that it was too damn difficult. Questions were too hard. So I'll try to ease some nice ones in there for you so you can finish on a positive note today. But how you doing, baby? I'm excited, man. It's going to be a good show today, Jay. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to have you back. Glad to be back on the show. It was a great weekend for sports. You missed a lot of it, but I can't blame you. You know, your Mavericks are out of it. You've already disowned them. You're back on the Lakers. It makes a lot of sense. The Euros kicked off over the weekend. Copa America, Ray. Maybe the U.S. can bring it home in Copa America. They tied Brazil a few days ago, so you never know. But very excited. Exciting week. Olympics are coming up. It should be a good summer for sports, so I'm very excited for what's coming. But we do have football to talk about, and we do have mostly contract news, and apparently you are trying to embarrass me yet again in Jeopardy. You call it redemption. We will see, my friend, because at least the people understand now. They're on my side after the crazy difficult questions you gave me last week, but I'm excited to do it again.
Jay, those questions were do you think you know ball? So I wanted to dive deep into the question bank, but we got you this week. I think you'll definitely do a little better job, and there'll be some that may stump a couple of people, but we've got to talk about some stuff, Jay, that's happening in the sports world. What do you think the biggest piece of sports news is today? We got Trevor Lawrence signing deals. I saw the new House of Dragon is on HBO tonight. But what do you think the biggest story in sports is right now this morning, Jay?
I would probably say the race war between the members of the WNBA is probably the number one story because Angel Reese, depending on who you ask, right?
They're gonna start
elbowed
a war,
Caitlin
man.
Clark in the face. Apparently, she did that. I mean, it was a hard foul. I understand it was a flagrant, but people, they are firmly entrenched in their opinions, and it is what it is. But yeah, it's the number one story in sports every single time. Elwood actually said Barkley retiring. That was a small little story, but
I think there's more to that.
Big, man.
I think there's more to that.
Really?
I don't. It doesn't smell like a. I'm tired of doing this. I need to sail off into the sun. Doesn't feel like that to me with Charles Barkley. But you are absolutely correct. The race wars between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And let me just start out by saying, like, Jay, you know, I have been I wouldn't say a major #1 super fan, but you know I've watched the WNBA for years. Like I've watched
You're
the
an
WNBA
advocate compared to many. A
yes,
heavy advocate compared to
I
many.
go to games. I watch the WNBA. I kind of follow the top players, some of the teams. A lot of it comes from a betting perspective that got me really into it. But yeah, definitely a flagrant foul. I mean, you hit her in the head. That's what happens. NBA, you know, FIBA, whatever it is. You hit somebody in the head, you're gonna get freaking a flagrant foul. But it is insane the amount of people that I see talking about this who probably have literally never watched any basketball, let alone a WNBA game. And it's just that we're talking about fouls, dude. Fouls, Jay.
The foul heard around the world.
When does it end?
The funny part about it to me.
When does it end, Jay? When does it end? When does it end?
Right. You know, the race war, it ain't over yet. I don't think it's ending anytime soon. Doesn't matter where you are or what you're referencing. I think it's going to be a thing for a long time. But honestly, Ray, if I didn't like somebody I was playing against, regardless of the sport, you know, I might take a little shot at them here or there. So I can't blame Angel Reese for doing it. I can't say whether she likes her or not. But if she doesn't, and
it doesn't feel like she's a big fan. Doesn't feel like she's a big fan.
It was a hard foul. When you don't like someone, Ray, in football, you know some jackass is on the other sideline and you're playing corner.
Yeah.
You might give him a little extra. You might light him up a little bit.
Yeah,
you might give him a cheap shot.
Absolutely.
This happens in sports.
100%.
You may get a fine. You may get a flagrant foul. You may get ejected from a game. These
100%.
things happen.
100%.
But it's not a big deal once the game is over.
100%.
The only reason it's a big deal is because this feud has been going on for a long time, and people have chosen sides, and they're determined to get their takes off. But ultimately, once the game is over, that's it. That's all that matters. It was a hard foul. You see it from players who don't like each other all the time. It happens. It's over.
100%. I'm playing defensive back. I don't like the receiver. Your back is turned on a running play. You're probably catching a shoulder. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to push you after that's nothing different. What about an MLB? Jay, pitcher's upset. Showed him up, right?
Literally
I'm going to throw
if you want to.
At 92 miles an hour into your rib cage, right? You know, this is insane, man. And the crazy part about it is both of them are really good. Caitlin Clark is going to be fucking phenomenal, dude. Like, she's very good outside of just shooting threes. She's dishing the ball, should have a ton of assists. A lot of the teammates but she's incredible. And Reese is good as well. Like, they're both good for the game. But this notion that these two are mortal enemies and any foul, it's wild to me. I saw Matt Leinart talking about it yesterday. I told him, shut the hell up, dude. Like, Matt Leinart, what are you talking about, man? The hell out of here, man. It's wild, Jay. But big news broke last week. And the golden one, T-Law, Trevor Lawrence, JRich, T-Law, Trevor Lawrence got the bag. JRich, T-Law was paid by the Jacksonville Jaguars, which places him, I believe, right now as tied at the top of the highest paid quarterbacks, along with Joe Burrow, at $55 million per year, Jay. And I don't want to sit here and talk about was 55 too much or too low. The market is the market. But let's take a look right now. So I'll just put up on the screen. Here go the top paid quarterbacks right now. You got Joe Burrow, $55 million. T-Law, $55 million. Jared Goff, $53 million. Herbert at 52.5. Lamar at 52. Jalen Hurts, 51. Kyler Murray coming in at 7 at $46.1 million. Deshaun Watson, $46 million. Mahomes, $45 million. Cousins, $45 million. And Josh Allen, $43 million per year. Some names that you don't see on the list, Jay. No Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is not on the list. Tua Tagovailoa, not on the list. Tua's not on the list either. Brock Purdy, not on the list. Jordan Love, not on the list. So I just want, let's talk about Trevor getting that type of money right now. Warranted, deserved, or is this just a byproduct of the market is the market? This is the quarterback. This is what you should pay. This is what they're deserved. Where are you at with the contract, deserving, not deserving, Trevor Lawrence?
I think deserved versus not deserved is a difficult question, because I think you have to take into account what the Jaguars are, and that's an abysmal franchise that's been terrible for years. And from the moment he got drafted, even before he got drafted, Ray, you said he is going to get a massive extension. Doesn't matter whether he's good or bad. He's the chosen one. He's the golden boy. He is all they have. He was going to get a massive extension. And ultimately he did. But I do think there is some merit to paying him. When you look at a lot of the advanced metrics, there is a lot of encouraging signs to where paying Trevor does potentially make sense. And the Jaguars aren't exactly in a position to start over yet again. I think it's a pretty high deal. But at the same time, for a team with zero leverage, this is what you have to do if you want to keep a potential franchise quarterback. So I think they were kind of backed into a corner. I think T-Law had a lot of leverage. I think that game where he beat the Chargers in the playoffs was a massive catalyst to show what he can be. But I think there's still a lot of things that he needs to clean up and work out as well. But this Jaguars team isn't perfect. And ultimately, this Jaguars team needs to improve. And they're not going to do that without Trevor Lawrence. So I think it's a lot of money. And when you compare it to Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, even Kyler Murray, I have some question marks. But it felt like a deal that Jacksonville had to make for their future. Do you feel any differently about them extending T-Law?
Well, no, this is, what else are you going to do? You know, you look across the NFL, Jay, and it's easy to say, go draft another quarterback, go draft Michael Penix, go draft Carson Beck, Shedeur Sanders, Caleb Williams, whomever it is. It's easy to just continue to do that time and time again, but franchise quarterbacks don't grow on trees. And if you were a fan of any of your favorite sports franchises, there was probably, outside of the New England Patriots, a period where there was just no quarterback at all. And there was no chance either. Even if you got to the wild card, you knew you were losing. Even if you had a decent, you knew there was no chance because you didn't have a guy. And long gone are the days where defenses can reign supreme and carry you to a championship, NFC, AFC championship. You got to be able to score points. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, in my opinion. And it's easy to spot the teams that are in, I don't want to say QB purgatory, but they have not found a guy that they can even roll out there to some degree on a consistent basis. So should he have gotten that type of money? He should have been paid. He definitely deserved a second contract. He hasn't been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. He hasn't been the best, but he also is far from one of the worst. So sure, the market is the market. There's only 32 of those starting jobs available in the world. Hell yeah, T-Law was going to get paid. It's easy. It was an easy story to tell. But, Jay, to that point, and we did an episode, year and a half ago, and we were predicting 5 years from now the top 10 quarterbacks in Dynasty. Remember that crazy exercise we did? It was awful. But one of the names that I said would not be a top 10 quarterback in Dynasty in 5 years was Trevor Lawrence. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And it's easy to spot the ones, like I had Bryce Young. He'll never be that. Because of the perception it was already tainted. His perception and what he is has already been stained and tarnished. He's got to go ape shit the next 2 years to even have a chance to weasel and weasel his way into the top 10. But I didn't think T-Law was going to be one of those type of quarterbacks that people gravitated around or had to have. Did he deserve it? That's up for debate, but he was getting it regardless. And good for Jacksonville for at least having somebody in the building that they can build around, put other pieces around. Maybe he's not a truck, right? You know, we talk about trucks and trailers, Jay. Maybe what it is a lot of these guys that we thought or think are trucks and they can pull a team, they're more like glorified trailers where they have to have everything around them be good for them in order for them to elevate that team. Whereas you've got a handful of guys that are trucks that can pull whatever's behind them to the promised land, a.k.a. Patrick Mahomes and a few others, Lamar Jackson and company.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about Trevor Lawrence's contract, honestly, is when you look at the breakdown of it, I mean, 2025, or this year's $15 million, which I believe is the fifth-year option. Maybe they got rid of it. But then next year, Ray, $17 million, 2026, $24 million, 2027, $35 million, 2028, $47 million, which are all below market contracts, whether it's today or, 5 years from now. And then you have the last 2 years of his deal, he's like 78 million cap hit and 74 million cap hit, so he'll have to be restructured or re-sign a new deal and scrap those last 2 seasons once all of his guaranteed money is gone. So that's kind of interesting when you look at the breakdown of the contract, because from a cap perspective, it's actually a very cap-friendly deal until you get to those final 2 years. By the time those years come about, there will be a brand new TV deal in place, and the salary cap will once again explode. So I think for the Jaguars, it's actually a decent cap hit and contract from that perspective when you actually look at the breakdown of how it's done. Similar like Deshaun Watson's, where they keep restructuring his deal every single year and it keeps making it more team friendly. But I think that T-Law is just one of those guys that was always going to get it. And it's just where the Jaguars are and have been. It's not the same as where the Dallas Cowboys, the 49ers, and the Miami Dolphins have been. And I think that's where the questions over whether those quarterbacks get paid are a little bit more interesting.
I'm just looking over the last 3 seasons since Trevor Lawrence came in the NFL, minimum 250 pass attempts, Jay. EPA per dropback. So this is filtering all the quarterbacks that over that 3-year time period, just their EPA per dropback. It ain't good for old T-Law. He's got one season, his 2022 season. He's 19th overall on this list. His 2022 season, 0.16 EPA per dropback. After that, he's in the bottom quarter of the NFL, Jay, every season. He's down here. His 2021 season, negative 0.06. That's 80th amongst 94 qualified quarterbacks. And then this past year in 2023, EPA per dropback, he was 52nd, 0.05 amongst 94 qualified quarterbacks. So he's been like average. He's been fine.
Now, can I give you a little counterpoint? Because Ben Baldwin actually put out a stat. I don't know if you saw this.
Yes,
but apparently Trevor Lawrence is one of the most afflicted quarterbacks when it comes to drops, right? And this is one of the big things with T-Law. And you look at his team playing in Jacksonville, like they don't have the best receivers. And so adjusted EPA per play from 2022 to 2023, so over the past 2 seasons, Trevor Lawrence is 7th when you adjust for drops. And so he's regularly a 0.09, but he's a 0.15 after adjusting for drops. When you look at players like Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, they've been the least affected by drops. And then you have Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith, Derek Carr, and some of these other guys have been afflicted by drops. But it's interesting when you look at it from that perspective. You know, you see Mahomes and Purdy and Tua way at the top. When you start adjusting for other things.
Listen, I am not knocking that statistic, but knowing that there's like 15 drops that go into the subset, and then you start to move stuff around from such a small percentage of plays that actually happen in the league, like, cool, that's fine, but I got some other shit for you, and we're going to get into that once we get into trivia, and Trevor Lawrence will be featured, Jay. But moving forward, $55 million. T-Law, Joe Burrow, 55 M's, Jay. What happens with Tua? What happens with Dak Prescott? What do you believe is going to happen with Brock Purdy and Jordan Love? Because those are the ones that are next up. And Patrick Mahomes is probably just waiting. Because Patrick Mahomes is going to come through. He's going to come through and kick the door down and say, I want 70 M's a year. And it's probably still not going to be enough. I believe he's going to be a $70 million a year type player. I don't know what their cap situation is like, but he is well below market value right now. He's well below market value.
$66 million.
He needs more. It's not enough. Whatever he's making, it's not enough. What's Miami do with Tua? Is Tua going to end up the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? Is that going to be Joe? You're laughing, but Jared Goff is third. If I were to ask you this question, would Jared Goff be a top 5 paid quarterback in the NFL going into last season? You would have scoffed at it as well. Are they going to pay Tua like a top quarterback?
This is probably the biggest question of the offseason outside of Dak, because I think that the Dallas Cowboys have a much more difficult situation. But this is where you go from, we need to pay this guy because he's all we have, to maybe we'd be better served building around a great roster and gambling on not having Tua. And I think one of the big factors here, of course, is talking about the AFC. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, if the Chargers get good, if the Steelers get good, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. Like, Tua's pretty firmly at 5 at best on this list. If the Browns are good and Deshaun Watson's okay because the defense is good, that team can be better than the Dolphins as well. So it's one of those questions where you have to ask yourself as a franchise, do you pay Tua and really strap yourself for cash, or do you try to make it work with a team? And I've been of the belief that you make it work with the roster because that's a way to be different in the NFL. Trying to do what the Chiefs are doing, what the Chargers are doing, what the Bengals are doing, what the Ravens are doing, and what the Bills are doing is probably not going to work with Tua because he can't play better than those quarterbacks. And so that's
he can't play better than Jared Goff.
He doesn't have to be better than Jared Goff because he plays in the AFC. He has to be better than Trevor Lawrence. He has to be better than Joe Burrow. Has to be better than Herbert. Has to be better than Lamar. Has to be better than Mahomes. Has to be better than Allen. And I don't think he can do that. And so if he can't do that, why are we paying him to do that? Why are we paying him as a quarterback to do that? That's my biggest question with Tua and why I really struggle with paying him because we know he's not better than probably 5 quarterbacks in his own conference. That's the number one question with for me at least with Tua Tagovailoa.
Same qualifiers. Tua Tagovailoa, of 94 quarterbacks in the subset, he possesses 2 top 13 appearances in EPA per dropback, both in 2022, where he finished 5th in the NFL, 5th overall in the subset over the last 3 years, and in 2023, this past year, when he led the league in passing yards, he was 13th in EPA per dropback amongst the same category of qualified players as the Trevor Lawrences and the Lamar Jacksons. So I'm just, what is it about? Is it a bias to the concussions? Why is it that Tua can't do this when he's already done it? He's done it. He's proven he's been better than Trevor Lawrence. He's statistically been better than these guys 2 years in a row. Yet we're saying that he can't do those things that these quarterbacks have not done. He's done things that they have not done.
Okay, but at the same breath, they've done things he hasn't done, like win playoff games, right? Yes, statistically, he is a great quarterback, and we know the system is a big part of that because every year, the top of the list is Shanahan's schemes. When you talk about EPA per play, EPA per dropback, that's not to take away from Tua at all because he has been phenomenal. He led the league in passing, but Ray, it's crazy that once again, you lead the league in passing, but your team is a little unsure. We're not sure if you're the guy to take you to the promised land. As good as Patrick Mahomes is, he's not leading the league in stats every single year. He's great, but we know the reason he's great is because that he wins. Even the questions about Josh Allen to win the big game against Patrick Mahomes, against Joe Burrow, are still there. But we know that has the ability to play big in those moments. We haven't quite seen that from Tua in the NFL yet. And I think that's the biggest question. When you even look at the biggest game of their careers, Trevor Lawrence's comeback against the Chargers is probably still a bigger game than Tua's ever won in the NFL. Now, I'm not trying to say that for sure. There may be a game where he played great, like the game against Baltimore where they came back and won was like insane. That was, I believe, like week 2 on the road in Baltimore. That was a crazy game where he threw for like 456 touchdowns. But to do what Trevor Lawrence did in the playoffs is a slightly bigger moment, in my opinion. And again, it comes to the desperation of the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Miami Dolphins, who could make it work with another quarterback if they wanted to, and then again, spend that money elsewhere to better the roster.
I put a poll in the chat. I put a poll in the chat on YouTube. Tua or T-Law in Dynasty? Jay, who would you rather have right now? 1 for 1, Tua or T-Law?
Do I assume Tua has an extension?
Right now, today.
I would probably still take Tua.
You would take Tua over T-Law?
Yeah, I don't really love the Jacksonville outlook, honestly. They still don't seem like they know what they're doing.
All right. So, Jordan Love.
Ooh, buddy.
60?
See, I don't know if he gets 60. That feels like a lot. You know, are the Packers going to pay him 60? The thing I don't know about the Packers is whether they are a franchise that has historically paid top dollar for quarterbacks, because I feel like they haven't. I feel like every time Aaron Rodgers was up for extension, it was always kind of like he got paid, but he didn't get paid.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Again, I could be wrong with that, but they don't strike me as a team that's paying top dollar for quarterback. But I think we all know Jordan Love is probably going to get similar to Trevor Lawrence, maybe a little bit less. And I think the big thing with
why? Go ahead. Go. I just don't get it.
I just think he's going to get. I'm not saying it's fair.
Right.
Again, I think he could get a little bit less. The big thing for me with Jordan Love and the reason why I think he does have a lot of leverage is he did bet on himself. Like he did. He took the 2-year deal to get the guaranteed money of like $20 million, whatever. And he's playing for nothing this year as well. But now he's going to be due for extension. They probably will pay him a lot. And more importantly, they have a very young team around him. So it would make a lot of sense to pay him now because you're not paying a lot of guys, period. I believe they have the youngest roster in the NFL. So adding Jordan Love as the cornerstone of that offense and still pairing him with LaFleur is a great thing. And I think he's deserving of probably $200 million guaranteed. Is he going to get it? I don't know. That's the biggest question. We expect all these quarterbacks to continue to set the market, but it doesn't seem like that's always happening. It happened with T-Law, and because he's the golden boy and Jacksonville stinks, that kind of makes sense. But with Jordan Love, I'm curious what that number ultimately looks like because I don't think it's going to be $60 million. But if he does get that, he would probably have a really good season this year to where the leverage is just completely on his side. And I do believe he's capable of that, but it's just whether or not it actually happens. Do you think he's going to have a big season this year and then ultimately command that top dollar extension next year?
Yes, I do. Somebody said Ray really hated T-Law. Actually, I don't. I'm just, as I'm running this stuff and I'm doing all this information to kind of build the show out, Jay, I just look at the quarterbacks who frequently pop up at the top of the list of everything that people want your NFL quarterback that is successful to look like. And there are certain quarterbacks that continue to stand out amongst the others. And there are some that are kind of in the middle towards the bottom. There's no hate. There's no player, man. There's no player I dislike. Honestly, I don't have any disdain for any player. I'm not one of those type of fans that I hate all Eagles. I can't stand those Giants. Hell no. Deshaun Jackson was dope. Shady McCoy was dope. I'm a Cowboys fan. There's no player that I dislike. I am just the messenger of the information in which I'm reading. And I don't understand how you could say that this one is deserving of that and the other one isn't. And I feel like in the case of Tua, there's definitely some scheme bias. And you see this all the time. What's so funny is people talk about, oh, these players are only successful because of the scheme. The scheme. When the NFL, they're all running the same shit, man. They're all running 11 personnel. They're all rolling out 3 receivers. Yes, some offenses are more creative, but some are more creative than the other. But that's not the player's fault. That they can only do what they're asked to do in the system in which they play. And we like to take it out or nitpick and cherry pick which ones are actually good because you think you know how you're supposed to play in that scheme versus somebody else. It's just kind of wild to me, Jay. But let's get into the game because we will talk some more about these quarterbacks, and I think I've got some easy ones for you. So let's get in to the game. Are you ready to redeem yourself this week, Jay? We got some different questions, man. Some different questions. Check it out. Check out the categories that we got here, everybody. Let me get this thing off the screen. Let's pull it up. We've got, I got to take the Underdog thing off. Let's take that. Shout out to Underdog, man. Shout out to Underdog fans.
Rookie class?
Huh? Yeah, 25 rookie class. We've got the 2023 rookie class. We've got NFL teams, and we've got quarterbacks, Jay. This is a very, very lightweight category for you today. So if you think you know ball, tune in. Let's have some fun. JRich, where do you want to start as I get our overlay up, our cool new overlay? Where do you want to start?
I think I want to start with 2025 rookie class for 100 because I'm so curious where you're going with this because the first question could be name 5 players in the 2025 rookie class, and I probably wouldn't get it.
No. All right, here we go. Okay. Rookie class. That's not 2025 rookie class.
2025
for 100, Jay. This draft eligible running back led the NFL. Hold on. There's music playing, and I don't want that on. There we go. This draft eligible running back led the NCAA in receiving yards and was also top 10 in rushing. Led the country in receiving yards. He's draft eligible. He's a hot name. Led the country in receiving yards, and he was also top 10, Jay, in rushing yards. So I'm giving you a top running back. I'm literally giving you a top player in the class. He was top 10 in rushing and led the country in receiving yards running back.
Oh, my God, Who am I? Bro. I'm going to say it's Ollie Gordon because I honestly have no idea. I don't even know where to start.
Okay, Stanley says Gordon. Stanley, this is like, honestly, all you would have to do if you wanted to. Ray, let me think about it. ESPN, 2020 NCAA running backs.
Nah.
All right.
If I embarrass myself, I embarrass myself. That's okay.
The answer is in the chat. The answer is Ashton Genty from Boise State. He had 1344 on the ground and 578 yards through the air, Jay. Very, very good running back out of Boise State. Check him out. I've talked about him a time or two on the channel that has Devi in its name. Where would you like to go next, Jay?
Let's do 2025 for 200.
2025 rookie class for 200. Jay, this running back led the country in 15-plus yard runs with 31 in 2023. This running back led the country in 15-plus yard rush attempts, Jay. 31 of them bad boys in 2023. Who is this player?
Bro. So Hendo was trash. Judkins didn't have the best season. I'm going to say it's Ollie Gordon this time because Ollie Gordon had a great year last year.
All right. You got that correct. Ollie Gordon. There you go.
See, I know like 3 2025 RBs.
Let's go. There you go. All right.
We're in the positives.
You're in the positive.
Make sure you screenshot this because I am in the money, so no one can take that away from me.
You just gonna name. You were going to name Ollie Gordon until you was an answer. All right. Where do you want to go?
Hey, I know you.
300. Where do you want to go?
2025 rookie class.
All right. 2025 rookie class. Yes. This draft-eligible wide receiver led the class in PFF receiving grade versus man coverage. Minimum 25 targets, Jay. This draft, let me and if you want to help, ask me. I will give you some hints. This draft-eligible wide receiver led the class in PFF receiving grade versus man coverage, Jay. So versus man, draft-eligible. Think 25. Don't think.
I think it's the big dog. Is it? Give me the conference. Is it the big dog?
The conference is not a P5 conference
anymore.
Ever.
What?
Ever. Jay, this one shocked me, man. And as I've been doing some summer scouting, this is a player that nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking about this player.
So it's not McMillan. It's not Burden, obviously.
I'm giving y'all a hint. My hometown, Jay. You know where I'm from.
Yeah, you're from Vegas.
I'm from Las Vegas.
So it's a Nevada wide receiver?
The answer, Jay, since you will never get it, nobody will get it. Nobody will get this one. That's why it's a little harder.
Easier questions, everyone. Remember, easier questions. And this is a 300.
I'm just kidding. It's Tez Johnson.
Tez Johnson. Is that the guy who did he transfer?
It's Oregon. This is the wrong
Oregon, right?
Yeah, it's Oregon. You wouldn't have got him anyway. I screwed you over by saying I said he wasn't.
I could have tried.
Well, I said he wasn't in any P5 conference, but it was Tez Johnson. I got this one mixed up with the other one.
Great.
Fucking L.
Love that.
You wouldn't have gotten it anyway. Tez Johnson's very good.
But I would have guessed Ted McMillan at least.
Yeah, here it is. I know, Jimbo. I messed up the question. He wouldn't have gotten it anyway. This stud wide receiver ranked first, JRich, in yards per route run and tied Luther Burden. There you go. So it's not Luther Burden. In PFF offensive grade, he was second in receiving grades for the wide receivers with a minimum of 50 targets, Jay.
Conference. You don't know, do you?
Mountain West.
You don't know.
Mountain West.
Fuck.
Mountain West. First in yards per route run. Tied Luther Burden, dude. Do you have any clue?
Ted McMillan. No.
You don't know it. It's Ricky White. You don't know who it is.
Ricky
White from UNLV. The name is in the chat.
It was Ricky Pearsall, my man.
No, the chat helped you out a little bit.
I'm not using the chat, though. I'm not using the chat. That's
ridiculous. Ricky White from UNLV.
Talk to me.
Listen, man. Jay, he can play. We'll see. We'll see. He's got a long way to go, but we shall see. Very good player.
Last player you touted from Nevada was Carson Strong.
Yeah. You want to finish it up for 500?
Yeah, let's just get this over with.
Oh, this is going to be a good one, Jay. This was the only quarterback in the country, Jay. Minimum 200, I think it was 250 dropbacks, so they played a lot. I didn't give you any kind of crazy name. But this was the only quarterback in college football that had more than 3 seconds to throw the ball. Time to snap to throw. 3.44 seconds to throw the ball. But his pressure to sack rate was above 30% while taking 40-plus sacks. only player in college to have this much damn time to throw the ball, yet have a pressure to sack rate above 30%, and he took 40-plus sacks on the season, Jay. Who is this player? Think about it, right? I got all day to throw. I'm chilling in the back. I got all day to throw, more time than anybody in the whole country, yet
I mean, I'm thinking it's Sanders, but
I'm the guy that's getting sacked 30% of the time, and I also got sacked 40-plus times, even though I got all damn day to throw, just like Justin Fields. Who am I?
Kyle McCord?
No,
I think it's Sanders.
A highly discussed draft-eligible quarterback.
Yeah, I'll say Sanders.
You'll say Sanders. I see Shedeur Sanders.
I'll say Shedeur Sanders. Because I know that he takes forever to throw the ball. Like, that is for sure. He got sacked a lot, too.
Shedeur Sanders. I see Drew Allard, Jackson Dart. Now you're saying Steve-O's still complaining that the questions are so hard. Watch more sports. A lot of these were pretty easy outside of Ricky White.
You go to your database and you start filtering random stuff until you're like, oh, that's interesting.
All right, the answer to the question, Jay, since it is not Shedeur Sanders.
Damn.
Jalen Milroe. I saw D-Bro get it in the chat. Shout out to D-Bro. Okay. I saw D-Bro say, Jalen Milroe, per drop back, man, he had more time to throw than anybody else in the country, yet he sacked 40-plus times and a 30% or higher pressure to sack rate. Jalen Milroe needs to get rid of that ball. Shedeur Sanders did not have 3 seconds to throw on the season. 2.89 seconds time to throw for Shedeur Sanders. Where do you want to go, Jake?
Sacked like 70 times. I'll take 2023 rookie class for 100.
Okay, 23 rookie class. This rookie wide receiver led the class in yards after the catch. Jay.
Oh, I have no idea, man.
Now, this is a $100 question. This rookie wide receiver led the class in yards after the catch.
This rookie wide receiver led the.
I mean, you could take a guess or two and probably be like close to right.
Rashee Rice.
Do you want to ask the chat? No. D-Bro's saying Corley. No, like this past 23. This is 2023. Not 2024. 2023. It says 2023 rookie class, not 2024. Where you want to go, Jay? Who'd you say? Rashee Rice?
I did.
You said Rashee Rice?
Yeah.
All right, good job. That is the correct answer, Jay. Rashee Rice.
I was just trying to think of all the wide receivers who are in the rookie class.
I gotta pull your thing up. Rashee Rice was the correct answer. You got that one right, my friend. Good job. Rashee Rice led it. Now Puka was close, but Rashee Rice did get that. So you want to go rookie class for 200?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm in rookie class mode.
All right, rookie class mode. I had to give you $100. There we go. Name the only 3 rookies to have over 1,000 total scrimmage yards in 2023.
Oh, man. Okay, so Puka Nacua. For sure.
There were 3 rookies, Jordan. 3. 3,
How many running backs was there?
Huh?
How many running backs was there?
Jay, I can't tell you these things, dude. I can't tell you these things.
I don't know if Bijan hit 1,000 yards. I think he was trash.
3 rookies, Jay.
Okay, Tank Dell shouldn't have got there. Addison didn't get there.
5, 4, 3, 2. Just guess. 3
I'll say Bijan and Gibbs. I don't think that's right, though.
You got it right, JRich. You got the answer right. The answer to the question was Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Puka Nacua all had over 1,000 total yards from scrimmage in 2023. Okay. You were 2 for 2. Want to go down to 300?
Sure. This is getting.
You're doing good, man. Yeah. There were only 3 running backs from the rookie class to exceed 40 targets. Name the 3.
Simple, can I get conference for the third? Bijan Gibbs, and then can I get a conference for the third? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Jerk.
No. Not giving you a conference on this. No. Ask the chat, Jay. 3 running backs.
I don't think it's Achan.
3 running backs, Jay. Exceed 40 targets on the season.
Yeah, Bijan Gibbs. I honestly can't think of who the third is.
You want to phone a friend?
I will phone Debro on this one. Debro, what are you thinking?
Who are you phoning? You're phoning Debro?
Yeah. He thinks it's Achan.
I don't even see the chat. Let me see. Mitchell, Bijan Gibbs, Achan. I got Achan, Bijan Gibbs. Somebody says Cook. Here we go.
Okay, Bijan, Achan, and Spears. Spears is a great answer. I will say it's Spears.
Bijan Robinson, 86. Jameer Gibbs,
chat.
71. Tyjae Spears.
Let's go, chat.
70. Jordan Richards. Achan had 37. He had like 37, 38.
Yeah, I didn't think he had enough.
Spears, isn't that interesting?
Was a great guess.
Isn't it interesting with Spears and Pollard and their ADPs on Underdog and who's going to be what type of running back for that offense? And Tyjae Spears, 70 targets, Jay. Last year, not bad for Tyjae Spears.
Because Henry wasn't utilized late in games, and he was actually utilized a lot compared to
Spears
running backs in the past. So yes, that's when I saw
Sharps
Spears, I was
had
like,
40.
That has to be it.
Yeah, Sharps had 40. That's why I said over. Good stuff. Jay, want to stick with this? That was a good one. That was a good one. I gave you that one.
The chat helped me with that one.
Yeah, here we go. This rookie wide receiver led the NFL in defensive pass interference penalties called. Double the next closest rookie wide receiver, and this player was tied for second in the NFL only behind Calvin Ridley. So this rookie wide receiver, when they were out there running routes, Jay, defenders didn't know what to do. They're holding them. PI calls because they can't stop this rookie wide receiver, man. He was double the amount of PIs called on him to the next closest rookie wide receiver, and this was second in the NFL, only behind Calvin Ridley at drawing pass interference calls. Jay, he's out there, man. They can't do nothing with him, Jay.
Yeah.
All they can do is just grab him. Shit, hold on for the ride, baby. I don't want to get taken for a touchdown. Who is this, Jay? This for $400, man. This could get you right at $100, right at negative 100. Do you want help?
I think it's Tank
Dell. You want me to
Dell.
give you the conference?
Sure. I think it's Tank Dell, though.
It's an AFC wide receiver.
Yes. So that's like Rashee Rice, Tank Dell.
That's ranked outside the top 40 in Dynasty.
What? So it's not Rashee Rice or Tank Dell because I believe both are top 24 wide receivers. So that's great.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Jay. You ready for this answer?
I have no
All of
idea
were wrong.
No
Quentin
idea.
Johnston, 6 of them. They couldn't do nothing with Q. I don't even think I spelled his name right. QJ, second in the league with 6 PIs drawn when he's in route. Jay couldn't do nothing with that QJ. Well,
500.
Stop grabbing QJ. Let him get loose, baby. Let him get down the field, Jay. You think you know ball, and so far you are negative 900 in the hole, my friend. Where do you want to go? Do you want to finish out this category? Rookie class for 500.
2023 rookie class for 500, please.
This rookie quarterback was tops in his class against man coverage. He led the class in completion percentage versus man, which placed him top 17 in the NFL, Jay. This rookie quarterback, top of his class against man coverage. Man, he was good. Led his class in completion percentage versus man, according to PFF, which placed him top 17 in the NFL, probably like 17th. But, anytime you see crazy numbers like that, who is this, Jay?
Tops in the class against man coverage, led the class in completion percentage. So I don't think it's CJ Stroud. I think that's too obvious. So I did look up a list of rookie quarterbacks.
because you needed that. We know it's tough. It's tough to remember that class of rookies, but
I'm going to say it's Tyson Bagent.
You're going to say it's Tyson Bagent?
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell.
Oh, it was AOC. See, that was the other one. I had both of them pulled up, and I was like, it depends on how many pass attempts, because you didn't tell me any pass attempts, so I was between those two. I was pretty sure it wasn't Stroud, but that's a great question, because I wasn't sure which one was better against man, and I did see that Tyson Major had a great completion percentage. So good question. Good question.
Right. That was a $500 question. There were a couple of people in the chat that nailed it very, very early. So shout out to Joe who got that one. There were a couple of people who nailed it. You've got 2 topics left. We've got 1,100 people watching us. Appreciate y'all being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe. We're back. Ray won't go on vacation again for another. I think I'm going on one in 2 weeks. I'm going to Vegas. Wife, it's for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there as well. Jay, NFL teams or quarterbacks? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? NFL teams or quarterbacks?
QBs for last.
Want to save QBs for last? Okay, we'll save QBs for last. Let's go NFL teams. Now, come on, man. Some of these are, come on, dude. I'm giving you 30 seconds to answer these, all right? For 100. This was the only kicker to go 100% on field goals, 50-plus yards in 2023. What team was this? One team.
What team?
100%.
Oh, not the kicker? Okay,
well,
I'll take the Cowboys.
Name the kicker. It named the kicker, but you
I don't
should
remember
know
his
the team.
name. He was on my SFB team, too, but I don't remember his name.
Well, what
Cowboys
team
kicker.
was he on? Okay,
Cowboys
yes.
Kicker.
Brandon Aubrey from the Dallas Cowboys. Brandon Aubrey. You got $100 there. There you go. Where do you want to go? NFL teams 200?
Yep.
This team led the NFL in penalty yardage in 2023.
Bro. Undisciplined team.
Undisciplined squad.
AFC or
Undisciplined.
NFC?
Huh?
AFC or NFC? Or you're not going to give it to me?
NFC.
Top 15 pick or no?
No.
You don't know?
No.
No?
No.
I'm going to say the Eagles.
Right division, wrong team.
So it's the
Dallas Cowboys. Led them. Oh,
I didn't know
yards
they led the league in
galore.
penalties.
Well,
damn.
Yardage. Yep, Mog said it. Ray's squad. Mog said it. Ray's squad. Goddamn Dallas. Undisciplined franchise. All right, Jay. NFL teams for 300.
Let's do it.
This team's 2023 QB sack rate was the highest in the NFL over the last 5 years. Jay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. When I ran this, I was like, damn.
Sack rate over the last
5
years.
They're getting their quarterback blasted more than anybody. JRich, last 5 seasons, Jay. Highest. This team's, and think about what I said, right? This team's 2023 sack rate was the highest of any team over the last 5 years, Jay. No teams got their quarterback pummeled more than this franchise did in 2023. It's crazy too, man. This was a really interesting stat to look at, the reverse of the teams whose quarterbacks never get hit. But this team got their quarterback killed more than anybody last 5 years. Think of a bad team. Bad team.
So I don't think
I see the Commanders, I see the Bears, I see the Bengals, the Jets, the Vikings.
See, it's funny. The team that actually came to mind was Indy, because I know the Indy's
Indianapolis. Okay. I'll just say this.
Carolina has to be up there.
The name, the team was only invoked one time through here. I was about to say nobody even got this one. Nobody got this one, but you're not going to get it, Jay.
Yeah,
the New York Giants, Jay. 14.1% sack rate. 85 damn sacks for the Giants.
That's
Woof.
so bad. That's so bad. Especially when your quarterback can move, too. Like, he got hurt, but still.
Terrible.
That's rough.
All right, Jay. The 49ers, which I learned a lot of interesting history about how they got their name, the 49ers, how their colors, a lot about the city. Very, very good historical tour of the city of San Francisco on my trip. The 49ers led the NFL in percent of rush attempts versus 8+ defenders in the box, with 44.5 rush attempts versus 8+ defenders. Who was last, Jay? Which team saw no percent of 8+ defenders in the box when they ran the ball? And think about, what'd you say?
Conference?
Think about the question, Jay. 49ers, right? They led the NFL in percentage of rush attempts versus 8+ defenders, right? They got to stop Christian McCaffrey. This team was last. They didn't face any stacked fronts. Here's what I'll say. They had a fucking nasty offense. Everybody was good from the offense, or everybody was in position to score fantasy points, and they had a freaking stud running back. That's as much of a hint as I can give you. Stud rusher.
NFC?
NFC.
Rams.
Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I was seeing the Rams and the Cardinals.
18.9%, Jay.
Yeah.
No
stuff,
you
gotta think 11 personnel, right? It's got to be an 11 personnel team. We know the Rams are 95%, right? 11 personnel. Yeah, but it's one of those things that makes a lot of sense. And from a scheme style perspective, you have a team that runs 11 so much, it opens things up for the running backs like it does. And so you look at, it's not going to be Miami because they run a lot of 12, right? You need a team that's spread out a lot to where they can't afford to have so many players in the box or they're going to get toasted. And when you said, every player was good, stud running back, I figured that was a little tongue in cheek. I gave you
a little help there.
That definitely helped a little bit. But it was them or the Cardinals. Do you know how high the Cardinals were on that list? Because I think the Cardinals would have been up there too. They wouldn't face a lot of heavy fronts.
I'm not sure. I don't want to. I flipped it and I was like, damn, the Rams way down here. So I don't want to say where the Cardinals were or not.
Yeah.
You want to round this one out? 500?
Let's do it. 500.
Let's do it. Oh, this was the one that I was talking to you about before the show. This is 1,000. This is the daily. If you get this one, Jay, if you get 3 teams, Jay, I'm giving you this one. All right, 5 teams, Jay. 5 teams in the NFL had a perfect record when leading at the half. Name them. Give me 3 of the 5 teams and you get this one. Simple as that.
Guesses do I get?
They were perfect on the season. 100%, 1,000%, 1.00% winning percentage when they led at the half. 5 teams. Nobody will get this. Unless you cheat.
I think the Cowboys are one of them.
Unless you cheat. If you cheat, you'll get it.
Are the Cowboys one of them?
I'm giving you 5 guesses to get 3 names. So I would tread carefully.
So is the Cowboys
The Cowboys are not one. So I'm not going to count you right there. They are not one of them. The Cowboys?
I think the Carolina Panthers.
You know how many games they've led and fucking lost at half? Get out of here, man.
I don't know how many games they've led at half. I know they win a lot of games at home, though. Okay, so are the Carolina Panthers one of them?
Where's the wrong button? Wrong. No, that is not one.
The Chiefs.
That is not
the
one.
The Chiefs aren't even one of them? Oh, my God, man. The Minnesota Vikings. Oh, my. Incorrect. Just give me the teams, then. I have no idea.
I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat to see if anybody can give me anything. Minnesota, no. Tampa Bay, no. Vikings, no. Niners, nope. Ravens, nope.
No, because the Niners blew the game against Minnesota.
Nope.
The Bears could be one of them.
These 2 teams were 8-8 when they led at the half. The Indianapolis Colts and the Cleveland Browns, both 8-8.
8-0.
When 8-0 when leading at the half. Excuse me, 8-0. 8 for 8 when leading at the half. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Jay, 5 wins.
Oh my God! Come on.
When leading at the half, they were batting 100.
They led games at half?
Apparently. The last 2, Jay, and we've talked about one of these teams' players quite a bit on this show. This is the only games they won this season is when they were winning at half. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, my
9
God.
wins of 9 attempts when they were leading at half. And the final team, Jay, to be leading at the half and win that game on the season. Does anybody guess? It's an AFC team, Jay. AFC West team. Not named the Kansas. No, the Raiders.
Oh, AFC West.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Colts, Browns, Steelers, Jags, and Raiders are the 5 teams that were
misleading.
100%. That's not misleading. They were.
That does not mean 6 for 6.
Well, I'm just saying they were 6 opportunities and they went 6 for 6. But 8-0, 5-0, 9-0, 6-0 when winning, leading at the half for those 5 teams in the NFL. That was a hard question. That was a difficult question.
Very hard.
That was a hard. Well, I told you it was a
That's
hard
fine.
one.
$500 question. That's fine.
Yeah, $500 question. Quarterbacks for 100.
Let's get back in the winning column.
2 QBs were sacked more than 60 times in 2023. Who were they? Minimum 350 dropbacks. No correlation to the other question either. 2 QBs.
I know, because Daniel Jones didn't play enough.
This is an easy one.
Bryce Young?
That is one.
Oh, that's a good one in the chat. Sam Howell. Sam Howell got sacked.
Sam Howell, 65. Bryce Young, 62 for $100. You are nailing those $100 questions. That's an easy one. All right, Jay. This QB was number 1 in the NFL in yak on QB completions. Okay? Number 1 in the NFL. When they throw the ball, they get the most yak there is. He was also 3rd in the NFL, only behind Jake Browning and Russell Wilson, with pass attempts at or behind the line of scrimmage.
That would be Mr. Mahomes.
Jordan Richards, let's go. Patrick
Mr.
Mahomes
with the lowest ADOT in the NFL. It had to be him.
Interesting, right? With Patty Mahomes?
Yeah, that's just one of those stats that you either know it or you don't. But yeah, it could have been Purdy for sure. Purdy's probably up there as well. But yeah, once you know that Mahomes didn't throw the ball long, it was
it's
just whether or not he was at or behind the line of scrimmage. That was kind of the only qualifier for me. But knowing he has the lowest ADOT in the NFL in 2023, definitely made him a prime candidate for that answer for sure.
Good job,
Jay. They run a lot of screens with Rice and with Kelsey and some of those guys, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, good job.
300.
Quarterbacks.
Oh, my God.
So initially, Jay, when I was coming up with this category, it was going to be all quarterbacks under 25. And as I started to do that, I realized, like, it's all Brock Purdy, and it's just kind of like, who's the 5th quarterback, right? Because it was all Purdy. So I switched this one around a little bit. So it's still, the premise is a quarterback under the age of 25, okay? So Brock Purdy leads in both completion percentage versus man and zone. But this quarterback, age 25 or younger, is currently 2nd in this cohort, Jay, in completion percentage. So right behind Brock Purdy, completion percentage for this 25 or younger year-old quarterback, 2nd to Mr. Brock Purdy. 25 or younger. So I've limited it down for you. I've made it really easy. Stop on the internet.
I'm just looking up the list of names. I'm not looking at their positions. I'm going to say it's Trevor Lawrence. I don't think it's Sam Howell. I think it's Trevor Lawrence. You did hint at Trevor Lawrence earlier. I think it's Trevor Lawrence.
Jay, I want you to read some of the names in the chat. What are some of the names in the chat? I just want to see if they're... What are some of the names?
Love, Mac Jones, LOL. Stroud, Hurts. Is Hurts under 25? I don't think so. He is 25.
So
Jordan
just for everybody out there, you're all wrong. You are all wrong. The answer to this question, Jordan Richards. Mac Jones, 66.2% completion percentage for Mr. Mac Jones. CJ Stroud was only 63.9, 64% last year. But behind Brock Purdy, of quarterbacks 25 and younger, Mac Jones is 2nd in completion percentage behind Brock Purdy. Would you have guessed it?
Interesting.
Interesting.
Mac Jones is 25, though.
I said 25.
Towing a tight line here.
I'm towing a very tight line. He's not 25.
Justin Herbert also. He is 25.
Well, but let's go to 400. It's not him.
Okay, what's the next one? Are we at 300 or
400? 400.
All right, 400.
400. QBs. This QB was one of 7 to have a better than 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio while finishing in the top 4 in completion percentage, over 68%. Yet, people don't want him, Jay. People want him replaced immediately. Get him the hell out of Dodge. Again, I went and looked. I'm like, damn, he was a lot better than I even thought he was. His QB was one of 7, Jay, to have a better than 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, while also finishing inside the top 4 in completion percentage in the NFL. Over 68% of his passes were completed, yet people need him out of the building. Get him out of town. Replace him right now because he's terrible and he stinks. Who
Derek
says
Carr.
Dak? Stop it. Who said Dak?
Derek Carr.
Jordan Richards is correct. Derek
Yeah.
Carr,
Derek Carr.
Jay. I believe he had 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, better than 68% completion percentage, touchdown in. But nobody, I mean, you know what I mean? It's just,
He's trash.
it's interesting.
He's not good.
He's Derek Carr. But Derek Carr has some nice, interesting stats there. Jay,
Yeah.
I don't know what the $500 question is, but let's see.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. This QB, Jordan Richards, was dead last in EPA per dropback versus 5+ pass rushers and is second to last, only ahead of Mac Jones in EPA per dropback versus 6+ pass rushers. So when there's 5 guys coming at this QBJ, he is the worst in the NFL. Minimum of 250 dropbacks. You send 6 at him, he's second to worst. Only Mac Jones is holding him from being stone worse. Who is this quarterback, Jordan Richards?
It is the MILF Hunter himself, Zach Wilson.
The MILF Hunter, Zach Wilson. Who else?
Who else? Is there more players?
It is
Bryce
not
Young
Zach
would be
Wilson.
my next guess.
It is not Zach Wilson. It is not Bryce Young.
Really?
No, sir.
Is it Sam
No, sir. It is not Sam Howell. Jordan Richards.
Man. Those would be Desmond Ridder would be the other one, but I don't think he drops back enough. He's too bad.
Jordan Richards. The answer
Who is it?
and the theme of the show.
This has to be Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. JRich, you send 5 at him, -0.31
Yikes.
EPA per dropback versus 5+ defenders rushing him, and -0.52 versus 6+ defenders getting after him.
That's not good.
Trevor Lawrence, dead
Not
last
good.
versus 5, second to last versus 6. Yeah, Hunter Joe Green got it, and he just got the bag. Jay,
I never
you finished the
Trevor
day.
Lawrence anyway, so how'd I do?
You finished the day -2,000 today on this trivia. Was this one easier or more difficult than last one?
You know what? It had its ups and downs, but I think it was a little easier.
Was it
so
fair?
credit to you.
Do you feel
was
this was
easier.
more fair for you this time around?
I'm bad at trivia, so I'm a bad gauge. But yeah, it was a little better than last time for sure.
So
it's better than the 200+ completions, 11 personnel, play action passes.
So let's put a bow on this one. Since we finished off with Trevor Lawrence there being awful whenever anybody is rushing him,
any pressure,
any pressure whatsoever. Do you think, and the one player that I did not ask you about, does Brock Purdy get paid more than Trevor Lawrence? That's how we're gonna go. I want to see what the poll said in the chat. I put a poll in the YouTube comments. I want to see where that's at while you answer this one, because I just asked Brock Purdy. I think I put Tua or Trevor Lawrence, and then I wanted to do one with Brock Purdy or T-Law. But give me your thoughts on what's going to happen with the Purdy situation.
So I think Purdy's going to get paid. Whether he gets more than Trevor Lawrence is another discussion. Again, I think you look at Trevor Lawrence's contract, and it's similar to Deshaun Watson's contract, where like, why did he get it? Did he deserve it? All those questions kind of come about. And if Purdy ends up making a little bit less than him, maybe it's just because of the team, and he wants to play on a great team that has some cap flexibility. Like, all those things can come into play. But if I'm Brock, I want the most money. I want to be the highest paid quarterback. He's played phenomenally for his entire career on the 49ers. If he does it again this season, there's no reason he shouldn't get paid a crap load of money. But it's also not really the way the Niners have played recently, right? They've played with, lesser paid quarterbacks, and they figured it out. But Brock is clearly a guy that they want to have on their roster and playing very well for them. So I think he does get paid. I think the question is just how much. But if I was projecting today, I don't think he'd get paid more than Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he'd be setting the market at quarterback. But I'd be happy to be wrong if that was the case. Do you think he's going to set the market at quarterback?
Oh, man, Jay. This is, I'm not sure, dude. Set the market. No, but probably going to be paid more than Trevor Lawrence. I just
But to be fair, that is setting the market right now, right?
well,
Like,
yeah. Well, I don't think it's going to happen now. It
yeah,
might be
maybe
after.
next year.
Maybe it's after a Mahomes restructure. He's not going to usurp that. All
Yeah.
I'm going to say is this, dude. As I'm looking at all these things that we signal for elite quarterbacks, and then you look at where Brock Purdy finished last year, Jay, I believe he was sixth in points per game, right? What people continue to fail to realize is, do you understand this is going to be his first offseason going into the offseason program as the starter,
As the
unquestioned,
starter, yeah.
and healthy? Do you recall last year going into the season, he didn't do shit till like August because the elbow, right? We thought his career was still over. So this is his first year going into the offseason program as the starter. He's 24 years old, sixth in scoring for the quarterback position. He didn't throw the ball a ton, so it wasn't a fact that he lived off a sheer Sam Howell volume. I was going to put this question in the Discord, patreon.com/ALLGAS, but are we a little too dismissive of how good he actually is? Are we looking at this modern day Drew Brees? I'm not going to go Tom Brady, but Drew Brees level of talent. When I looked at some of his numbers versus man and zone over the last 5 years, Jay, he's right at the top with everybody. And at some point, it can't just be the scheme, right? You can't just continue to say, oh, it's the scheme, it's the scheme. Well, he's in it. He's in the scheme, right? Brady was in the scheme. I'm just, are we a little too, I don't know, dismissive or passive or, I don't know, Jay. I'm reading the data and I'm looking at what he's done. I'm thinking, how could you want 8 or 9 quarterbacks over him in this game that we play where we want the efficiency monsters? We want the guys that aren't turning the ball over, that are part of good offenses, that have weapons. Yet you're telling me you want Drake May or Jaden Daniels or, these, like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting conversation, but I think the biggest problem for everyone, and this is the same thing with Puka Nacua, right? Like, how do you adjust for those late round guys that are not just outliers, but like massive outliers? Puka Nacua is an outlier of all outliers. Brock Purdy's an outlier of all outliers.
But that's 3 years ago. Like, at this point, that shit means nothing at this point, right? It shouldn't.
Sure. And I'm with you. It shouldn't matter, but it does in the mindset of people, right? When you're Trevor Lawrence and you're great, you're supposed to be great. When you're Brock Purdy, it's, well, is there going to be a point where it fizzles out? And how long do you need to see it? Because as you mentioned, he went up in yards per attempt, air yards per attempt, yards per completion, yards per game, QBR, QB rating. Like, every single statistical category he went up in except for touchdown rate, but his touchdown rate is 7%. So going from 7.6 to 7, more than fine. Still threw for almost 4,300 yards, still threw 30 touchdowns, still almost completed 70% of his passes. Like, he's a phenomenal quarterback, and the system is what it is. So don't take that away from him because he's always going to be playing in it. I think, the case could definitely be made. He's a top 10 quarterback. The biggest holdup is probably the rushing and then potential fatigue of Brock Purdy. I think that's what's going to hold him outside the top 10. But in
Brock
terms of
Purdy
his performance,
fatigue, what is this? What is that? That's interesting. Brock Purdy fatigue?
I think you're going to get Brock Purdy fatigue. Yeah, I think you will eventually, because it's the same with like Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott. Like, they're great quarterbacks. They can be top 10 guys. It's just without that rushing component, and especially in the case of Purdy, without that volume, he needs to be hyper efficient, which he can be. But if you're projecting year over year, are you projecting, a 13.9 yards per completion? I mean, you could, but that's kind of outrageous, right? Are you projecting a 7% touchdown rate? You could, but that's pretty crazy by just about every standard. So that's where it becomes difficult. Like, he threw the ball 444 times last year in 16 games. He probably would have been at 475 or so in 17 games. Again, it's a low volume, high efficiency offense. He's definitely a phenomenal player. And I think the biggest thing, Ray, that people aren't accounting for is one day Christian McCaffrey may not be there. And if Christian McCaffrey's not there, those pass attempts are going up by at least 100 a season. at least 100 a season. And at that point, his volume would be right where it needs to be. That's a long time from now. But again, I think it's interesting to see what the offense could look like if Brock Purdy was the star and not Christian McCaffrey.
He's 24. It's his first season going into it, and at some point, he will have to be that. At some point, there will not be a Christian McCaffrey to lean on. He will be paid to be the guy. It's just an interested, again, as I'm going through everything, I'm thinking, how on earth could you even, why would you want any of these guys over this player in this offense with what he's done, with how little or how much limited time he's had as the actual guy in that offense, Jay? I mean, this could be a season where you see another leap from him for the sheer fact that he's able to participate in off-season program. He's able to be there, to throw, to not have to go through this pseudo battle with another quarterback as the backup.
Some dude named Trey Lance.
This could be the start of something really, really good with him. Do they win the big game or not? I'm not here debating all of that. I care about what you do weeks 1 through 17.
Like, you got a guy who can get you there.
He's very good. He's very good. I put it in the chat. Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence, and right now we're at 68%.
90%. Like
67%. It's not 90. It was 90 for Tua. It was 90 Trevor over Tua, but we're sitting at about 67, 33% right now for Purdy T-Law.
That's bold, man. That's bold. I get it. You know, if you're a T-Law guy, I've never really been there. The value never really matched production for me. So it is what it is, but I would happily take Purdy. If he regresses and he's just a high-end QB2, like, that's fine. But I think no matter what, you're going to get pretty good production week in and week out. And with Trevor Lawrence, that just isn't the case, right? He has a lot of ups and downs, a lot of peaks and valleys. That can be difficult for at times in fantasy. And Brock Purdy's like so consistent. He had like 3 or 4 bad games this year, and every other game, 2 touchdowns, so 200 yards.
Short says, I want to see Purdy and Tua when they take a chunk of their team's salary cap and see what happens. At that point, they've given you fucking 4 top 10 fantasy finish seasons. Who cares at that point? That's my thing. What do we want to see it for? I've seen it. I've seen him do it for 2 years in a row, and it's going to happen again. I want to wait until they're all gone in 2030, and then we can talk about, well, at that point, he's not going to be a top quarterback, right? Because it's 6 years from now when all of that shit comes to fruition. So you've wasted 8-9 years of production so you can see if he can actually beat man coverage without Christian McCaffrey. Come on, man.
The NFC
crazy
is so
shit.
different. You don't have
crazy
the same quarterback talent in the NFC. It's
crazy. That's just not how football. Every team is different. It does not. There will never be an equal, even playing field for all quarterbacks to be evaluated. It's just, it doesn't happen like that. It never will. It never has, and it never will be. So you've got to judge them based off of something. And the thing that I'm not going to base them off of is when everybody's gone and they take up a lot of the cap hit and they've got to carry the team. What are we doing,
That's the biggest problem with the Cowboys, right? And Dak is like, do you want to tie up
and what problem is it for fantasy?
All these guys?
What problem? And there's no problem from a fantasy perspective. Zero. Team, sure.
They got players, right?
As long as they got players, Jay. Hit the music. Let's wrap this shit up, man. Appreciate y'all being in the building. Thank y'all for waking up. Monday, myself, JRich. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Check out Destination Dynasty, Scott Connor, Tommy Blair, Part 2. Ty DeClaire trade show on Saturday went up. Make sure you tap into that. Overreaction pod this week. Off the Line Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm dropping stuff. I got an interview coming up, I believe this week, with Lawrence Jackson from NBC Sports. That's going to be pretty fun. And then
make sure to talk about his baseball swing.
Oh man, I saw that. I saw that swing. That plant leg stayed driven in the ground. Did not come up one time, swinging all off that front leg. But nah, appreciate you, Jay. Anything you want to say to people before we get out of here, baby?
No, well, Ray, since you're not going to talk about it, I will talk about the Euros. We got Belgium in the afternoon, and we got France tonight, Ray, your boy Mbappe. I'm saying he scores a goal, maybe even 2 in the opener for France. Should be a great game, and very excited for the Euros. And Copa America later this week. Make sure you guys tap into that. It is going to be a great month of world football. But, Ray?
Moggs, what's happening with you, baby? Moggs, Garrison. The kids are still out for the week, Jay. So my wife and I are committed to getting shit done This week. So
What are we
getting
doing?
everything. We're getting everything mailed out this week. Doing some stuff in the back. So anybody that got anything this week, everything's going in the mail. We finally have time to breathe. We got a week off. But other than that, man, I'm just excited. I'm excited to be back. We got a lot of cool stuff coming. Jay, there's some really good stuff coming. I think next month. Next month we'll be rolling out some really cool things over here at DD, and excited about that, man. So y'all have a beautiful Monday. Stay tapped into every single thing that we do. Use that promo code ALLGAS. Make sure y'all wake y'all asses up next Monday. I don't know if we're gonna do another game, another trivia game. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll figure it out. We love y'all. Have a fantastic day. And y'all see y'all on the channel or in the court. We out. Peace.